Okay, so today we're going to continue our journey through the exploring what's wrong with our tree series. Up until now, we've really talked about recognizing problems in our trees and looking at what types of information we might need to gather in order to help us figure out what is wrong and come up with solutions for dealing with them. But today we're going to look more proactively, and we're going to talk about some of the things that we can do at different times of the year. And today we're going to focus on fall and winter. What are some of the things we can do in fall and winter to improve tree health and to maybe prevent some of the issues that we've already talked about in other times? So again, joining me today is Mr. Toso Bozic, arborist extraordinaire and owner of Yard Whispers and CEO of ATTS Group. So welcome again, Toso.
Thanks for having me, Robert.
Yeah, it's fun. Okay, so summer is over. Sad. And winter's turned colder, or it got cold and then it got warm. Now we're getting cold, and winter is, I think, definitely going to be here. So what are some of the things that people can do and should do to help maintain and even potentially improve their trees' health? So let's start with right now in this brief fall period that we have. What are some things that you would recommend that are key for homeowners to help their tree health overall?
First thing is the watering. It's still not late, even though today we have a plus 16 and it's November, and it's actually probably the best time. Watering is the crucial component for not just the young trees, but also very mature trees that are been there for 60, 70 years. And it's one of the best way to protect your trees, especially roots of the trees. Because if you do have a problem with the roots of the trees, you're going to have a problem with the rest of the trees in many ways. So watering is number one that people need to pay attention in the fall and early winter. And there is several things regarding to the watering. Number one is the test your water for the salinity. That's a very common mistake that lots of people watering trees, and they have a high sodium level, and that sodium level go into the roots in the trees and actually kill the trees and doesn't help. Number two, slow watering. Don't have a high rush of the water or something like that. Number three, it's always what we call drip line. That where the furthest branches are reaching and around. That's where the most of the roots. Don't water near trunk.
No, yeah, you want to water
because the roots of the trees are way further away from the trunk. In many mature species, I always said in aspen or poplar or other species, how tall is the tree multiplied by 2? That's how far the roots are going, and you want to reach those fine roots that are able to do it. So the slow and heavy watering and preparing for the winter is probably the most important thing in the winter time, in the fall, in the winter time.
Okay. Any other things you might do? Okay, second, go ahead.
Mulching.
Okay.
We're noticing in many years that many trees without mulch is actually usually suffer in the springtime. And one of the reasons, mulch is an amazing thing. Usually wood chips or wood mulch is amazing, help the trees in many ways. Number one, keep the weeds out. Number two, when it's a dry season, they keep the moisture further. And number three, which is very important for many tree species, if you have a 2 to 4 inch of mulch, the cold air and the frost slow down the movement into the root system. And that will definitely help the tree's roots to better survive and handle the cold weather. Same thing with the watering. One thing why the watering is important, Robert, is when the water into the root ball and root system, it freezes, and the temperature of that frozen water, it's 0 degree. But if you don't water, the cold air go in the root system, and it's the cold air that kill the root system in that sense. So watering and mulching is probably the most crucial things that people can do in the fall and at the beginning of the winter.
Okay. What about winter? What about, is there anything we can do during winter to help protect the health of trees,
In
other than
winter,
crossing
what?
our fingers and toes and hoping or
Oh, well,
praying that
number
things
one,
will
with
go okay?
lots of people made mistake in the wintertime, but you can do, and at least pay attention not to damage the trees. If you have a driveways or close to the roads or something like that, most of the time people use the salt and sodium, and what they do, they clean up the driveways and they put a lots of salt, and the salt end up with the trees in wintertime. And of course, not at the beginning of the winter, but late in the winter is pruning. That's the time, and I always said the best time is pruning is January, February, and March. Preferably usually March for some of the species, but removing the black knot as we talk about it is probably best time in January. So for the pruning if it's possible late in the late winter, and you will have some of the frost cracks or some of the damage from the winter, and it's the biggest thing is to just monitor. Lots of people, what they do, they put a wrap around the trees to protect them from this sunburn. That doesn't help. Don't do that. Don't waste your time and money into that. There's many studies find out that really doesn't help. Watering of the trees is way more important than anything else.
Okay. All right.